Foi, nossa, uma queda boa, hein? Tá falando aqui nos 60, não, deixa eu ver. Só dar uma olhada, capturada aqui. Eu não lembro quanto que tava mesmo a Tether ontem. Qual que é o valor? Peraí que eu tô arrumando um negócio aqui. Tchururu. Lightning. Parece que caiu. No sétimo dia caiu 26%. Caiu bastante. Eita. O NUP Swap caiu 41. 7 dias. Muita coisa. Vamos ver aqui, ó. cara saiu aqui, o cara lucrou pra pôr, hein? Porque subiu, depois só caiu. Deu uma subidinha de nada aqui, depois caiu de novo.
Coin? Well, in 2012, one Bitcoin bought you this much pizza. In 2016, this much pizza. In 2020, this much pizza. And in 2024, well, you get the gist. Roughly every 4 years, the future supply of Bitcoin is reduced. So historically, you get more, not less. Over time, your money gets you less. Does Bitcoin? Well, in 2012, one Bitcoin bought you this much pizza. In 2016, this much pizza. In 2020, this much pizza. And in 2024, well, you get the gist. Roughly every 4 years, the future supply of Bitcoin is reduced. So historically, you get more, not less. Over time, your money gets you less. Does Bitcoin? Well, in 2012, one Bitcoin bought you this much pizza. In 2016, this much pizza. In 2020, this much pizza. And in 2024, well, you get the gist. Roughly every 4 years, the future supply of Bitcoin is reduced. So historically,
Free Firezinho, hein? Tá bom. Faz tempo que eu não joguei, só uns dias com meu sobrinho, mas faz tempo que eu não jogo, hein?
Numbers and papers.
And lines. And waiting.
You work hard, get good grades, go to college.
I want to go to college.
I got good grades. I overachieved.
That's right, she did.
Debt is good?
Debt is so good.
So much debt.
I can totally save up and buy a house and start a family.
I want a family.
Oh.
Starting a family means you need 2 or 3 jobs.
You can't afford to buy.
Oh.
You can't afford to rent. Used cars cost as much as the new ones.
Oh.
It's weird.
Starting a family means you need 2 or 3
Head of my
jobs.
class.
Houses are too expensive. You can't
Work
afford
hard,
to
get
buy.
The system did
Rent, you can't afford to rent.
Breaking
Used
news.
cars cost as much
Everything
as
is
the new
terrible.
ones.
Oh.
It's weird.
Starting a
Good
family
debt
means
is
you need
good.
2
Head of what if it was different?
It's always been that way.
We've got to build our way out of it. Yeah.
Put control back to the hands of the people.
Not the bureaucracy.
A system with less paperwork.
No waiting. No lines.
permissionless.
Just because you're born into a system
Doesn't mean you have to live with it.
Sacou? Satoshi Nakamoto. Os caras zoam ele. Aí, 3 dias, 20 horas, 35, 36 minutos e 0 segundos. Volume. Eu ia pegar aqui, ó. Bem aqui, ó. Pegar no meu tanto. Caiu aqui em 2021, né? Não, é 2021. Chegou a 169. O máximo foi 300. 347. 363, 363. Se bater isso aí de novo, aí fica bom. Vou passar ou romper, com certeza vai romper. É muito dinheiro.
where you can invest in companies early stage to mega cap. In the ARC Venture Fund, for just $500 minimum investment, you have the unique opportunity to invest into pioneering companies leading the charge in disruptive innovation. This is where your journey into the world of venture capital begins. Accessible, straightforward, without any complex barriers or requirements. $500 is all it takes to start investing.
Peraí que eu vou dar uma ida no banheiro. Queda foi bom, por R$ 87. Quem comprou aqui tá doidinho pra vender aqui, ó. 80 com... Se não já vendeu, né? Bater aqui é da hora, hein? E daqui vai dar 73. Quase. Aí dá um velão na pega. Dogecoin. Quem comprou mais ou menos aqui, ó, chegou a 1,80, não, 2,90. Quem pegou aqui, ó, fez um volumão.
De me pedir a chave, então eu vou aproveitar para dar uma espiadinha na casa. E nada melhor do que uma pipoquinha pra isso. Você sabe quem tá comigo desde o início? Sazon. Hoje é dia do tempero Sazon para pipoca sabor manteiga, que dá match em várias receitas. Bom, agora eu preciso me despedir desse quarto. Eu sei que é difícil, mas eu preparei.
Será que esse é titular desse Bitcoin pela liberdade? BTC Forum também é deles.
Were smart, as soon as this segment is over, she would sell all of her Bitcoin Because if she doesn't sell it now, she's going to sell it later at a much lower price.
All right. Well, them's what we call fighting words, and I think there's similar drivers for both. But let me introduce the two. Natalie, meet Peter. Peter, meet Natalie. All right, Natalie, some choice words for you. What would you tell Peter?
Oh, I know, Peter. And you know what? Bitcoiners don't feel the need to constantly attack gold because we're not threatened by gold. And the reason that we have this failed fiat experiment that has impoverished our nation is because of the defects of gold. The fact that it's not easily portable, it's not easily verifiable, it doesn't offer instant final global settlement. And so you know what? Centralized authorities hijacked it, they papered over it, and we have a system of leverage and rehypothecation that hurts the working class. Bitcoin is immune to all of that. It is the savings account for billions of people that we really need and can most rely on, and it offers that final global settlement that we need. And so gold is the analog version of sound money, but Bitcoin is the digital version, and that's why it's going to be the faster horse in this race.
Peter?
There's nothing sound about Bitcoin. It's losing the race right now. Take a look at your screen. Gold is up $25, $26, and Bitcoin is getting clobbered. You know, there is no flaw in gold. Gold worked great for 5,000 years. The problem is the flaw is with governments. The flaw is with human beings, not with gold. But Bitcoin is really flawed because it doesn't have any actual value. Gold is the most useful metal on the periodic table. That's why it's money. Now, it has great characteristics that make it better money than other commodities, but absent its intrinsic value, it couldn't be money. And Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's just a digital string of numbers. And all of this is just a bunch of hype.
Anything could be money, right? On the island of Yap, they used to have big stone money. Anything could be money if people use it as an exchange. And this is the thing.
But that's because
But here's the thing, though. You have to admit, Bitcoin is on the rise. Wall Street has embraced it. And this is just a tiny speck. I mean, could you imagine, Peter, at the rate of recognition, if Bitcoin keeps going at this rate, it's hard to deny it could go substantially higher.
Now, I just told you it's been dropping for 2.5 years. That's when it made its
all-time high recently.
And I think that decline is going to accelerate. It does not keep going up. They suckered in a bunch of people. Wall Street didn't embrace it. They're just trying to make a buck off it. I mean, these big Wall Street firms aren't buying any Bitcoin with their own money. This is their customers' money that are dumb enough to buy it. They're just booking the bets. They're operating the casino. They're not at the blackjack tables or the roulette wheels. That's their customers that are doing that.
Natalie wants to jump back in.
You know, if you look at the short term, Bitcoin is going to be volatile. But if we zoom out, Bitcoin has outperformed gold. In fact, when Hamas attacked Israel, since then, Bitcoin is up 125% and gold is up only 27%. So let's really look at the numbers that we're seeing. And the best thing about Bitcoin is, again, no one controls the ledger, whereas gold is really vulnerable to centralization and top-down control, which is why we need a system that is a neutral place to store your wealth. We need a neutral system and protocol.
Even compare.
That is Bitcoin Peter,
for the
why
digital
can't someone own both?
Bitcoin.
Why can't someone have exposure to both?
Yeah, well, first of all, Bitcoin has outperformed everything. So don't compare it to gold. It's outperformed stocks, real estate, bonds, collectibles. That's because it's a gigantic bubble. No, if you want to own Bitcoin, I don't care. If you want to lose money in Bitcoin, go right ahead. Doesn't bother me. But I'm trying to help give people advice as to what to do with their money. And if they want to have an investment portfolio, Bitcoin has no part in it. But, you know, if you like gambling, if you want to take some of the money that we're going to take to the racetracks or buy lottery tickets with or go to Vegas, if you want to take some of that money and gamble on Bitcoin or any of the other 20,000 cryptocurrencies that are out there, go right ahead. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I don't want to buy any Bitcoin. I mean, sure, had I bought Bitcoin years and years ago when I first learned about it, yeah, I could have made a lot of money selling it now to the greater fools, but I didn't do that.
That's something he said on my show. He wishes he bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Natalie, bottom line, though.
But I'm not going to buy it now. And Natalie, you're going to wish you sold Bitcoin. Mark my words. You're going to be ruining the day.
We take all of this stuff, Peter.
If I'd only sold my Bitcoin, I'd have had a lot of money.
We got 30 seconds left. I got to give Natalie the last word.
I think the American dream has really been hijacked. We tried gold, it didn't work. It was papered over. That system has failed the American people, and Bitcoin does provide hope for us, the working class. We want to be able to work for something that has to be measured by a free market so that we can see real value emerge, as opposed to being captured by politics and bureaucracy, which ultimately is a system that benefits the few at the expense of everyone else. And it's a system in which the politically connected and the special interest groups really are at the top. And so we need a system that is for the people. Bitcoin is for the people.
Natalie, thank you very much. Peter, thank you very much. Liz Clayman, over to you.
I was enjoying that.
And we're going to find out what the women in Bitcoin rate this event.
A 6 out of 5. Natalie is just putting on such amazing events, and as a woman who felt alone at these conferences in the beginning, to create a space for all of us ladies to meet up and wear orange and meet other women at these heavily male-dominated spaces is an absolute wonderful thing to see and be a part of.
10 out of 5. It's wonderful to meet all these women doing different things in the industry and making a big impact.
5 out of 5 for sure. It's reminded me why I got into Bitcoin in the first place, and it encourages me to stay in this space.
5 stars. Great food, great people, great drinks.
5 out of 5. It is amazing to see so many and powerful women and just meet so many great people.
Beyond a 5, getting to see all the different women who are in the space has been really
Eita, por 50 Bitcoin, mano. Cara, se esse cara trouxe até agora 50 Bitcoin. Ele tá milionário. Quanto que daria 50 Bitcoin? Dinheiro, hein?
is government bonds, and that's where all the risk is, and that's where like the perfect hedge is as well, because government bonds are not just one thing, right? There's a 30-year treasury and there's a 30-day T-bill, right? And so the length of that bond, the yield curve, like that matters to a client's balancing. If they're going from, hey, I'm going from Bitcoin to a 30-year treasury, like, okay, that's a different move than a Bitcoin to like a 30-day note or a money market fund, right, that holds treasuries. So the most natural opposite, and often how we're counterbalancing a client's Bitcoin position, is with that cash or that really short-term treasury. Bitcoin's opposite, right? Its natural opposite is government bonds, and that's where all the risk is, and that's where like the perfect hedge is as well, because government bonds are not just one thing, right? There's a 30-year treasury and there's a 30-day T-bill, right? And so the length of that bond, the yield curve, like that that matters to a client's balancing. If they're going from, hey, I'm going from Bitcoin to a 30-year treasury, like, okay, that's a different move than a Bitcoin to like a 30-day note or a money market fund, right, that holds treasuries. So the most natural opposite, and often how we're counterbalancing a client's Bitcoin position, is with that cash or that really short-term treasury.
Bitcoin Magazine. Vamos ver esse Bitcoin Magazine.
Gillette Mac 3 Carbono. Com carvão ativado, remove impurezas da pele.
Bitcoin's opposite, right? Its natural opposite is
Onde estava 64 a ganância, né? Diminui um pouco a ganância.
What are we doing? Where are we going? And she goes, we're going to go film the riot. We're going to Lake Street. And so we drive down there. Kmart is burning. Riot. We're going to Lake Street. And so we drive down there. Kmart is burning. Target is burning. Everything is on. Fire. She has the Sony.
Better. One of your favorite words? Jihad? That's my favorite hobbies. That's my favorite hobbies. It doesn't matter now who do you vote into power. They will not listen to you. They would listen to the people who paid them to be there. When the military came in, people were walking to me like, pointing their fingers like, don't speak about Sisi. Don't speak about the army. Huh?
Phantom. R$3 barato. Comprar uma desse de R$3 para participar 20 aí sim. $36. Caiu 36. Nossa, essa moeda dojinho. Nossa, lançaram esse ano e já tá em 417 e tá mantendo. Volume não tem nenhum. Chegou a 26 mil em 2021. Primeiro de 2021. Primeiro de dezembro de 2021. falou que não compra Bitcoin. Ele falou que não vai comprar ETF de Bitcoin. Pensei que ele tinha falado que não ia comprar Bitcoin. Ai, eu me assustar. Porque um cara como um pai pobre, o cara entende pra caramba. Ouro caindo, petróleo caindo. Mexeu muito mesmo. 600. Nossa, que da hora. Coin Mark. subiu um pouco, ó. 25, 3 mil. 25 e 300. Não, 2 mil e pouco. E 100. 900 e alguma coisa. Uma linha aqui, ó. Ela mesmo. Aí, ó. Preto. Se viesse aqui, aí ficava bom. Não, o quê? Quinhentos a mais. valendo R$1, mano. 1,24. No alto dele foi 2.203. Se o cara vendeu aqui, o cara tem.
About 100 million customers worldwide. Chris, good to have you with us. First off, the pros and cons of doing business in Hong Kong.
Well, obviously, we are very pleased with the change in Hong Kong environment in terms of approach to digital assets. There has been a new framework that came out from the regulatory perspective, and this recent conditional approval of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs is a sign of a general support for the market development in Hong Kong. So we're quite pleased with it.
And how does Hong Kong compare to a market like Korea, for instance, where there is great interest in crypto among retail investors, and you're launching your app at the end of the month? How do you expect to do in a market like Korea?
Korea has historically been very difficult for overseas players to enter, and we've spent almost 2 years preparing for launch. It's obviously one of the largest crypto markets globally, with a very, very high adoption rate and extremely active retail user base. So we'll see how we do. We are in it for the long term. We've entered through acquisition of 2 licenses and a very prolonged product build out. So we'll do our best to provide a competitive product offering to Korean consumers.
But in terms of products and services, what can be expected after launching your app?
Right, we will give, our mission is to provide access to digital assets on a global level, and doing it in a regulatory compliant manner. So users in Korea can expect us to continue in this fashion, being the trusted place where they could trade crypto, and a good selection of it. Further down the road, we are very well known for our crypto card program. We are the largest Visa crypto card program globally. We will do our best to launch it in Korea locally as soon as possible.
Chris, I want to talk about the spot Bitcoin ETF. There was bigger than expected demand for it. What assumption are you making about appetite going forward and the long-term impact that may have?
I think structurally it's a very good setup. You've got daily large-scale inflows, and this is against the backdrop of Bitcoin halving coming in a couple of days, which will reduce the supply side further. So I think structurally this is well positioned. Obviously, Bitcoin and crypto right now in general is part of the global financial system. So we are not completely disconnected from what's happening in equities, for example, and what's happening with monetary policy or with what's happening in the geopolitical environment. So I think there's a general consolidation phase going on right now, which is similar to the previous cycles, and I expect pretty decent action within the 6 months following the Bitcoin halving.
Do you see any change in terms of the crypto market structure on the back of that nod to that ETF?
Definitely. Those are flows that were previously not present. So I would say that probably the proportion of Bitcoin prices being driven by retail activity or small investor activity versus institutions is changing during this cycle. And the things that we should look forward to is the decision making on Bitcoin ETFs and perhaps some other cryptocurrency ETFs, or even cryptocurrency basket ETFs in the future, because again, this may strengthen the flows.
Chris, you talked about the Bitcoin halving expected to happen in April. I'm just wondering how much impact that may have, given the kind of demand we're seeing for that ETF of late. Might that take away some of the impact?
I would say that this just improves the overall situation, because you've got less Bitcoin coming into the market that is being sold by the miners, and you're just cutting this in half. So it won't make a difference over a day or two or a week, but over a period of 6 months, it makes a substantial difference. So I think this is a net very positive development for the market. One has to always remember that there's this buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing. So as we approach this date, there may be some selling coming up.
Right, and we're seeing an easing of Bitcoin prices right now below 64,000 as we speak. I'm just wondering, do you see the rally continuing? What might lead Bitcoin higher from here?
Well, again, I think this is a period of consolidation. We've seen exactly this in fact happening in the previous cycles. So this is an asset that you want to hold for a very long period of time. You should measure it in years, if not decades. So I strongly recommend everybody who has this kind of time horizon to add it to their portfolio. And I personally expect great performance within the next 6 months.
In terms of your own strategy at Crypto.com, how does it look like for the next 6-12 months?
For us, this is all about scaling the size of the platform. We are approaching 100 million users, as you mentioned in the beginning. We want to hit 250 during this cycle. The retail intent so far has been muted comparing to the previous cycle. So it gives us this kind of notion that we are still early into, those are the early innings of the cycle. So it's all about scaling. And again, we've almost completed our regulatory licensing puzzle in all major markets. So we're ready to grow the business as fast as we possibly can.
At a time when we're seeing pretty aggressive strategies from Chinese exchanges, how might you counter that?
We have a completely different strategy. I mean, we are building this business for it to last decades, right? So from day one, we've KYC'd every single customer on the platform. We followed very stringent rules regarding anti-money laundering. So this is our way of building this business. And we believe that if the market is supposed to reach 1 billion people, it has to be done properly on a sound foundation of regulatory compliance. So we pair this with pretty decent efforts in terms of brand building, because you want to be the trusted place for people to interact with cryptocurrency. So I think our strategy does not change. Some of our competitors that pursued somewhat aggressive tactics are now in hot water, and we are perfectly positioned to take advantage of that.
Chris, given your expansion plans and your long-term plans as well, I mean, what are your hiring plans on the back of that, and which markets are likely to drive growth?
Right. So we're hiring right now, but we're doing so very thoughtfully and strategically. We've got a couple hundred openings in the company outside of the customer service, which we scaled by about 700 people in the last couple of months. But outside of customer service, to meet the new demand and increase traffic, we are doing so very thoughtfully and strategically. Again, we want to make sure that we remain a very nimble, fast-moving company in this rapidly developing space, so that we can capture all the opportunities. We don't want to be, a very large, slow-moving corporate. That's just not how we want to build a company.
Any plans for sports sponsorship? Will you continue with F1, UFC, for instance?
Yeah, those are great properties and great partners that we have multi-year relationships with. I think we've already established ourselves as a globally recognized, trusted brand. We will again be very selective moving forward. Frankly speaking, not all of these partnerships move the needle for a brand like Crypto.com. So we want to make sure that whatever we choose to do is true to us and what we stand for as a brand.
Great stuff, Chris. Chris Maslach, co-founder and CEO of Crypto.com. Now, of course, we have a